Hi, welcome back to Comic Book Gallery. I'm your host, Joaquin. Today's video is going to be a new series that I'm going to be doing called Under Review. And the first one under review topic is going to be BatMan Damned, book number 1, which is a DC Black label. Also wanted to show off my Joker haha hat that I picked up at an Ontario Comic-Con, which was pretty cool. Back when I was visiting my sister, I want to say in August, give or take. Or no, maybe it was July, but it was in the summer. BatMan book number 1, DC Black label. Everybody by now knows about the controversy. I mean, the late night TV is talking about it. Stephen Colbert, I believe, did a 2 or 3 minute monologue on it. So everybody knows the hype about Batman, or the Batwang nickname. I'm more interested in what I think the future value of this book is going to be, because this is not the first time that nudity has really been shown off in a comic book. I know independents have done it a lot, and Image, I believe, has some books that did it, but I also, Marvel had an adult book, and I think it was Marvel Knights or something, I can't remember exactly, but they showed Peter Parker, and it did not have the same traction for whatever reason as this book, maybe because of the low print run, but whatever the reason is, this book caught on fire. Last week, this book was selling on eBay for under $100 by the time it hit over the weekend. And it's the filming of this, which is now Thursday, so it's been about a week and a day. The book's had a chance to cool off. The average price is $50 to $60. Last week, when I picked up my new books, when I saw the initial cover on this, I didn't pick it up. Did not pick it up on Wednesday. My book total was already at like 50 something, and it was taxed, and I was like, this is going to push it past 60. And I saw a couple of books on eBay that I want to bid for, and I just didn't feel like buying into, paying a higher price for like a mini graphic novel. Well, I had a chance to sleep on it Wednesday night, and Thursday morning I got up early and raced over to the comic book store, and they still had one copy left. This is on Thursday morning, and I got to buy that cover. So I was happy with what I bought. On Thursday, now I'm watching other people's YouTube videos about it. And a few people were suggesting that if you get a chance, that you should pick up a second copy. And on Friday, that's what I went looking for. I went looking for a second copy, which I was able to get for cover price. And I have a funny little story that some of you will find amusing, except for the person who lost their book. So I walked into this comic book store that I normally go to. There's 2 of them. Actually, there's like 3 because I live up in Seattle, Washington. There's probably like 4 or 5, but there's 3 in my general area. And I asked him on Friday morning, did they have another copy of BatMan Damned? He said, no. I said, oh, okay. Well, I'll just see what else you have in the shop. And I'm somewhat of a regular. I come in there maybe once a week. And the owner, one of the owners, must have been upset with one of their pool customers, which is the other reason why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to link both of them up. If you have a pull box with a store and you do not pick up your books on a regular basis, they don't care if you pick it up once a week, once every 2 weeks, or even once a month. But as long as you're picking it up and you let them know what your schedule is, they're okay. When you get a pull box and you order all these titles, and then you start going through them and be like, yeah, I don't want this one, I don't want that one, they kind of get upset. Well, I caught this comic book store owner on one of those days. So he said, you know what? He's always coming in. He doesn't pick everything from his pull box. He puts a lot of stuff back. Here, you can have his copy because he may not even want this, which shocked me because by now, even if he were to pick his books up later on Friday or Saturday, unless you're living under a rock, everybody knows that Batman's Wang is in this book. Let's just say he didn't know. But he's going to probably find out when he picks up his books and was expecting to see this in his pull box that it's not there. And while the owner might tell him, hey, we got shorted books, it benefited me. Right place, right time. So I was able to pick up a second one for cover, which is great. On Friday, I was thinking about trying to actually flip this book. And it made me start thinking about, do I want to flip this book or do I want to keep them? I definitely want to keep one for myself because I'm a comic book collector. But two, I do want to open up my own comic book store, and I'm starting to gear up towards saving up for that and getting my back stock. And that's why you see me buy a lot of these books on eBay. Those books will be in my shop except for the X-Men because I love X-Men, especially for the run I'm trying to collect right now, which is 1 to 300. And if I can get anything before 100. I will, however, be selling the copies I have of books as I increase the grade. So if I get something like at a 9.6 and I have a 9.0, I'll be selling those on eBay, which I should be starting at my eBay account this week. And I will start to list some of my books, but the majority of it for the moment will be Magic the Gathering, which is something I'm also into. Which brings me back to my original point is, if you bought 2 or 3 books, should you sell them? If I bought over 2 books, I would definitely have flipped one last week because that was your best chance of getting the best price because, you know, getting this book, selling this book for $70, $80, even after eBay fees and what you put into it, you're making a minimum $55, $60, $70 price range, which is not bad. But if you have 2, maybe you sell it this week and, you know, you make a $40, maybe even a $50 profit, or you just hang on to it and see where the market goes. And if you're new to collecting, you could use this as an example of a hot book and to kind of start tracking the trending of when do prices start dropping, when did it heat up. Just use it for like a research project, which is basically what I want to do. Because some people that I've been watching on YouTube have said you should have sold your book last week while you could get close to 100. And a couple other people are like, I don't know, maybe you should hang on to your book. If you only have 1 copy, I'd hang on to it. If you bought this book because you collect Batman, then you definitely hold on to this book. I do collect Batman and I enjoy reading certain titles of his every now and then. So I'm keeping it, and like I said, I'm keeping it for the store. For the rest of you, that's just something you have to figure out for yourself. You know, get as much advice as you can by listening to other people on their YouTube channels. Go on eBay, start looking at prices of what they're selling for so you know what to expect. I don't know if you want to make that decision of setting it off to get, I believe it's CGC graded, will do magazine sizes, or is it CBC? I can't remember offhand, but one of them does it. So that's another thing to consider. If you are going to keep this book, I would go and get it graded just because you have a hardcover to protect this book. I think the storyline is okay. I think it's a little bit above average. I want to grade it more once I see the whole series coming out. And the next cover looks marvelous as far as like having Harley Quinn with Joker makeup. So I'm kind of holding off my opinion on this so far until I read all 3. But so far, I do like the black label. I love the artwork. I like the point of view of the story. It's from somewhat of Constantine's point of view. And Batman doesn't know if he's killed the Joker. And he wakes up opening scene in an ambulance, is trying to figure stuff out. And if you hadn't had a chance to read the book, I don't want to go into any more because they are doing a second printing. And they are going to edit out Batman's Wang, which is another reason why this book shot up as much as it did. And in my opinion, they didn't need to have the nudity in there. This book was going to sell out no matter what. And most people are going to, like myself, are going to enjoy the series and keep buying it. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe it was for promotional to get people outside or get in the mainstream talking about it to where people who are not interested so much in the comic books might give comic books a second chance, because a few of the comic book dealers or comic book shops that I've walked into, I've been there when the phone rang and they've asked, do they have a copy of Batman Damned? And this is like a week later. So people are still have interest in this book and they're going to until the second printing hits. So if you're deciding to sell your book, right now is a good time to sell. For those of you who are learning about flipping books, when a book like this, sorry, just trying to gather my train of thoughts, but when you pick up a book on Wednesday and you see the trend hitting to whatever the peak is, that's a good time to sell it right then and there, because the odds are that it's not going to go that much higher. The fact that they're going to be doing second printing, even though it's a low print run at considered of 115,000, that's still a lot of books. Like if this print run was only 25 or 30, then I would suggest you hold on to your book. But if you have a second or third copy and you just want to flip it so you can get other books, then by all means go ahead. But if not, if you're like myself who is a collector, then I would hold on to this book for a while. And maybe you could trade it with somebody else down the road who doesn't have this book, but you want a key issue from their collection. So that should do it. Like I said, this is going to be an ongoing series called Under Review. My next topic for Under Review will be short boxes and a new version of a short box that just came out that's hard plastic. So I hope you enjoyed the series. If you like what you see, hit the like button and leave a comment below if you think you should be selling your copy of Batman Damned, if you only have 1 or 2 copies. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And I will catch you later.